Good morning, kids, and welcome to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on Josh Scorcho. Today, we're checking out something kind of interesting from him. It's a little bit of an older video, only a little over a week, well, two by the time y'all have seen this. But this is something called a triple top 5 list. Now, honestly, if I had to guess, that's literally just a top 15 list, but different categories. So let's hop in and see what Josh has to say. What you got, brother?
Making a list of the best weapons in video games is no easy task.
No doubt.
I'm just giddy about looking forward to the comments of, why wasn't such and such weapon here? So to keep this from becoming the next boss series, I decided to do something a wee bit different, presenting the world's first triple top 5. Unless I didn't notice or forgot if another person did it, sorry. I'm going to be making separately ranking the best melee, ranged, and magic weapons. First things first, how effective is the weapon at taking down enemies and clearing the objective? That's kind of the point, after all. Second,
Yeah.
how fun is it to use? Lastly, how much of a role does it play in the story, or how much impact does it leave that it's considered a staple? Let's find out by counting down our triple top 5 weapons.
Huh. So does that mean he'll do like one of each as he goes? Like one melee, one ranged, and one magic? I guess we just have to speak. All in all, this is still going to be very cool.
Conca
Oh,
is a
what? No. You cannot just put an ad like that. You can't just cut me off like that. Oh, hey, we're back. Let's continue. Oh, okay, so I guess it's gonna be ranged, melee, then magic. Or maybe ranged, magic, melee? I don't know. Let's go.
Mega Man has been collecting weapons from other Robot Masters since the dawn of the NES up until now. These
Yep.
weapons definitely vary in
Still
terms of
going.
creativity and practicality, but yeah, let's not beat around the bush here. Nothing tops the Metal Blade. Allow me to give you the
Oh,
four-step formula for making the most overpowered weapon imaginable for a 2D platformer. 1. Make it a projectile. 2. You can aim it anywhere you want. 3. Let it one-shot most enemies and overtake half the bosses in the game. 4. Let the
Yeah.
ammo count be quadruple the amount of a standard weapon. Seriously, the only thing this weapon's missing is a homing mechanic. Even factoring how busted it is, it's just a cool projectile in general. You're throwing saw blades at your enemy. No duh, it's gonna hurt like a bitch. Considering how easy Metal Man
You just
is in
can't
both
stop
terms
it.
of stage and boss fight, it's like the game is begging for you to get this weapon first and clean sweep the entire game. But yeah, that's unfortunately why this weapon isn't higher. Part of what makes a weapon great is how much it adds
Yeah,
to the
he's
overall
right.
tightness of the gameplay, and Metal Blade makes Mega Man 2 a total cakewalk, with the only thing standing in your way being that crappy booby trap fight. When the game is so poorly balanced that you need an overpowered item to get you out of most of it, that's not exactly good design. Heck, even Archie poked fun at it.
Oh, hey.
But it's hard to deny the weight Metal Blade carries as one of the series' most well-known and beloved weapons. It has everything going for it, even it can be too much in places.
It's too strong. And the whole range, but act.
Picking a single weapon from TF2 was easier said than done. The game is practically overflowing with them. This could have easily been a top 15 TF2 weapons list. Surprisingly,
Ooh, hey,
our
next
pick
month.
ended up being the stock Sticky Bomb launcher. Just taking it at face value, though, it doesn't seem
Okay.
too impressive. Yeah, it kills enemies and buildings pretty well. What does it have beyond that? Sticky jumping for one. Using the bombs, Demoman can jump across the field at absolutely
that's
ludicrous
kind of
speed.
awesome.
Easier said than done, though. Demoman takes far more damage from his bombs than the soldier takes from his rockets. If you're not careful, you can easily die, either
Ooh.
from the explosions or from the fall damage. But if you can master it,
How about
you can
both?
get around maps faster than the Scout. Some Demomen are so good they can sticky jump multiple times without hitting the ground. And yeah, you can use the sticky jumper to avoid the damage, but that takes out half the fun. But aside from the gimmicks, the amount of versatility this weapon has is unparalleled. You can use it aggressively, use it to lock down areas for crowd control, and even set up some cheeky traps. The only real reason that the sticky bomb launcher not being
That is
higher is
awesome.
that being on the other end of it is maddening. There's only so much begrudging respect I can offer when my buildings constantly get destroyed. That and the delayed arming time makes it rough to fight at close range. Man, all this talk about the sticky bomb launcher really makes me want to boot up TF2. Is
Oh, yeah,
what I
I
would
feel
say
that.
if Valve would actually fix it for the love of...
What manner of witchcraft is this?
Okay, number 3, we're at...
If you think that Manco's catalog of weapons is impressive, the guns manufactured in the world of Borderlands are mind-breaking weapons of mass destruction. With the
Yes,
claim to
they
fame of
are.
having 87 bajillion guns, jeez, that's a lot. Just picking one is really hard, especially considering just how varied and specialized these armaments can be. So let's
I'll be honest, my pick would probably be that joke weapon that is annoying as all hell, but funny as well. Well, that'd be my pick.
generalize a bit. In Borderlands, each weapon falls under the brand of a different manufacturer, each with its own niches and specialties. From the elemental focus, high-tech guns of Maliwan, to the rustic and single-shot guns of the Jacobs, and the cheap, broad appeal of Tediore, that reloads by throwing the gun. Alright, all the weapon manufacturers carry their own personalities that are evident through both in-game lore and just using the guns. Realistically, any of these could be a candidate on their own, as each one can speak to a different person depending on your playstyle. So, I say we pick the most Borderlands-y manufacturer of the group. And let's
Okay.
answer that question by asking another very simple question.
Explosions!
Yes.
Oh yeah, baby! Torque guns are the guns that you want if your objective is to cause wanton destruction. Exclusive to the torque weapons are the
Yeah.
elemental type Explosion. Unlike other elemental types found across the series, Explosion isn't a status condition that causes extra damage over time or anything like that.
Oh, hold on. We'll be right back. Actually, hold on. Before we skip the ad, it's kind of ironic. This is a video about guns or weapons, and this is a rubber band gun. What is the damn coincidence of that happening? And we're back. Let's go.
Who what you think it is?
Mr. Torque!
No.
Mr. Torque!
Yes.
Mr.
Oh.
Torque!
Always yes.
Who needs to aim for critical weak spots or think critically about elemental weaknesses when you can just blow your enemies to pieces? And torque weapons are pretty good
Explosions.
at doing exactly that. Your standard issue torque guns come in shiny metallic clothing, often sporting checkerboard patterns like the race cars. If you thought they'd be shooting bullets, you'd be dead wrong as anyone unfortunate enough to be staring down your barrel, because instead, they shoot rocket-propelled mini-jets that explode on contact with anything they hit. And with names like the Sinewy Bang Stick, the Lumpy Intense Slapper, and the... Really? The Rock-a-Flap-a Derp? It's
What?
pretty clear that these guns are meant only for the manliest of men out there.
Who
But
named
that's not
these?
even getting into the unique guns and the legendaries like the meta-defining Unkempt Herald, the Flacker, the very aptly named Nukem, a rocket launcher that shoots, an actual nuke at your enemies.
Nukem.
Or if you want something simpler, you could always go for the Sword Explosion, which shoots exploding
Jeez.
swords that split into even more exploding swords. Yeah, subtlety isn't really
It's
an option
so
for torque
much.
guns. And then there's the CEO and spokesperson for Torque, whose full legal name could make him the president of Idiocracy. This testosterone-filled madman is like if Saxon Hale was a sports buff and about 9 times as crazier and is the star of his very own DLC in the second game. He would
That's
fight in a gladiatorial
awesome.
arena filled with torque guns and learned such fun facts as his love of explosions. No, really? The fact that he swears too much. No, really? And that the shareholders made him surgically attach a digital sensor into his own voice box. Oh.
The Torque shareholders wired my voice box with digital sensors, so I can't say stuff like your fucking balls. That's like half my fucking vocabulary.
Oh.
Or there's also the time he suplexed a shark wearing a bolo tie. Was he or the shark wearing the bolo tie? Yes. Just
Yes,
the
both of them
lunacy and in-your-face attitude of the entire Torque brand is the kind of thing that's only found in Borderlands.
You know
Their
what?
guns are
Screw it.
absolutely
Yes,
top of the
I'm
line
buying
too.
Torque.
They're the best guns if you just want to turn your brain off, point them at someone, and boom, no more enemy. And really, what else could a Fault Hunter on a death world like Pandora ask for? What does it say about a gun that you can never think of it without thinking of the one who wields it? Samus Aran's arm cannon is
named?
one such gun. You never think of it apart from Samus's iconic power armor. Yet for such an understated weapon, it has a large bank of tricks. As a
Oh,
weapon
yeah.
of the
It's
chosen
everything.
race, it is perhaps expected that the arm cannon is such a technological marvel. It can vanish completely, being stored along with the rest of the power armor in Samus's Zero Suit. It's also capable of swapping to a missile launcher and overcharging for a
How
larger
does it
blast.
actually do
Oh,
that?
but that's not all! Ice beams, plasma beams,
No, I'm actually curious and partly serious. How does the entire suit of armor disappear into the Zero Suit? Does it get like shrunken down and into the suit, or what? Because I am legit curious now. If anyone knows, let me know down in the comments below.
grappling beams, wave cannon mode, flamethrowers, shooting light and darkness, and more. With the right upgrade, it seems like Samus's trusty arm cannon can get her out of almost any problem. Almost. There's been a time or two where the power armor and thus the arm cannon with it have failed Samus. But in the end, it's still one of the most reliable guns in gaming, as well as one of the most versatile and even dramatic.
Shut up, bang. Okay, so that's how it works. Honorable mention for number 1.
Model 1887, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You had to be there. It was terrifying. Flood, Mario, your greatest weapon as well as your greatest ally.
that's a
Portal
gun?
from Portal. So simple, yet the implications and possibilities are crazy. Blue Shell, Mario Kart, the great equalizer.
Okay, technically that is a ranged
so
weapon.
many friendships. Dread,
It's a thrown
Warframe,
weapon.
just as devastating in your hands as your enemies. Gravity Gun, Half-Life 2. I
Classic.
think it's
Very
kinda
classic.
overrated, but people love it for a reason, so here it is.
What can I say except you're welcome?
I mean, yeah, you get to chuck shit at high velocities.
When it comes to iconic, when
Oh,
it comes to
the
memorable,
super
when it
shotgun
comes to
of doom.
unmitigated cool factors and impact on gaming history, nothing can match the Doom's BFG.
Oh.
Well, strictly
Well,
speaking,
okay,
the acronym
okay.
stands for Bioforce Gun 9000 for the 2005 movie. Well, we all know what it
Yeah.
means. Big friendly giant.
Oh,
Indeed,
come on.
the BFG is so awesome.
Okay, you know it says he isn't gonna say it, I will. Hold on. BFG stands for Big Fucking Gun 9000.
Awesome that the original Doom can't even fit the whole thing on screen. It rains plasma blasts onto your enemies and leaves nothing unscathed. Of course, such power comes at a price. A single shot will set you back 40 energy cells. Heavy cost for such
Oh,
uncommon
shit.
ammo, but well worth the price to see your enemies fall before you. And the most incredible thing about the BFG, in the original Doom, the game engine itself couldn't handle how much damage the weapon was capable of inflicting due to the periodicity of the simplistic pseudo-random number generator used by the Doom engine. Try saying that
Oh.
5 times fast. And acquiring that weapon in Doom 2016 is just... Oh, killing demons was already fun, but here, it erases an
Oh,
entire
yes.
room and shoving that much power into the final boss's mouth and
It's the ultimate dream.
over the many years since the original Doom came out, much has changed in gaming, but Doom and the BFG
Are
are eternal.
I knew he was gonna say that. Now on to Melee. Starting off with number 5. We have. Okay, I'm a little early, but
Sylvia,
still.
those-
Oh, hold on, we'll be right back. And we're back. Moving on to number 5 for real this time. We
Starting
have...
with Melee, no, not Smash, blades are probably the first thing you think of as your typical melee weapon. And yes,
Classic.
we have a blade as our number 5, but it's a bit harder to see a hidden blade, if you would. Yeah, it's Assassin's Creed's hidden blade.
Oh, the wrist
you
blade,
know
okay.
this. It's probably the thing you remember the most from Assassin's Creed, other than Ezio, Unity's glitch face, and 3's terrible ending. Positive vibes, Josh. Okay.
Positive.
The history of the hidden blade goes back
Positive.
to ancient Persia, where it was used to kill King Xerxes I by the assassin Darius. Darius's invention was eventually given to other prominent assassins like Odyssey's Cassandra and Origin's Bayek, whose usage allowed it to become the signature weapon of the Assassin Brotherhood.
Ooh.
The blade hangs under the wrist of the assassin, allowing for a quick stab to the throat or back that is both quiet and deadly. While it is excellent as a quick kill weapon, it's not the best as an actual parrying weapon for duels, as it can be broken with enough force. At first,
Yeah,
the
it's
blade
pretty
required
small.
the sacrifice of the ring finger to allow the extension of the blade, but our OG Pro Tag, Altair, altered it to remove this requirement. For some reason, mysterious hooded figures with the ring fingers removed seem to stand out. Never would have guessed. Altair's adjustments pioneered a whole slew of advancements for the blade, including a hidden gun and poison blade. These advancements were recreated and eventually
Nice.
improved upon by Leonardo da Vinci and other famous inventors. We have
Ben
events like the
Franklin?
Hook Blade from Revelations, the Phantom Blade from Unity, and the Pivot Blade from 3. However, in modern
Oh,
times,
that's
the Hidden
kinda
Blade
cool.
isn't used as often as more, with the exception of high-ranking assassins for traditional purposes. They still use variants like the Shock Blade, but we're at a time where more advanced methods of killing people exist, even if they aren't as quiet. While the practical use of the Hidden
Good.
Blade may change depending on the version, it's still one of the most iconic melee weapons in gaming. Seeing Altair or Ezio effortlessly killing people in some of the
Ezio Auditore.
coolest ways possible is why we fell in love with the series in the first place. And while the series gets more ridiculous with each entry, you
What
can't
the
deny that the
goal?
Hidden Blade is just cool.
I mean, yeah, he'll never be wrong about that. And from the Hidden Blade, we move to number 4
It's a
with...
nice dagger. Interesting nuptial accessory. It's a bit sharp.
The trusty dagger.
Dagger.
For when during melee combat
Dagger.
you need something a bit more compact than a sword, but still sharp enough to deliver a killing blow. As long as you're not being a chucklehead when handling it.
Ow!
See what I mean?
That's gotta hurt.
Well, wait. That's not how this is supposed to happen. Let me try again.
Oh, and of course we're talking about the Sands of Time, Lords of Persia. The Dagger of Time, the Prince of Persia.
Forged from the Sands of
I
Time,
think
the
that's the
Dagger
movie.
of Time is one
Game.
of the titular Prince of Persia's most iconic weapons. A handy little pricker on its own, and the only blade that can kill the sand creatures we come across. And given its title, I already pieced together that its biggest gimmick is being able to manipulate time. Oh, what's that? You messed up your parkour and plummeted headfirst into a pit of spikes? No worries, the dagger is the ultimate rewind button, giving you a second chance to get it right, or multiple chances to botch it up again just for the giggles. Don't pretend you don't get a kick out of the game over screens breaking the fourth wall.
No, that didn't happen either. Let me begin again.
Speaking of, that does remind me
Love
of
it.
one catch the wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey blade has. While it can reverse time around us, we still remember what happened. Basically, every time we use the dagger, it creates an alternate timeline. Oh gosh, now that I think about it, that's kind of messed up. The fact that the prince can undo all his boo-boos but still recall the pain. Why do I keep overthinking things?
Ow.
For real though, you can only
Gotta
imagine
hurt.
how much grief we'd probably save ourselves if we all had a time dagger. You can actually feel the disappointment when you lose it temporarily. I mean, yeah, you get a scimitar
Yeah.
that can insta-kill enemies, but how do you compare that to the world's best rewind button?
Exactly, yeah. So we move from the past to number 3.
Legacy
It's...
is a topic that comes up often in the Sly Cooper games, both one's personal
Oh.
legacy and the legacy of those who came before you.
Of course, we're probably talking about the very own Sly Cooper Kane.
The ultimate symbol of Sly's legacy as a member of the Cooper clan is his cane. Coopers, since the days of ancient Egypt, have wielded similar canes. And when I say similar, I mean it. Despite all being
Yeah.
Coopers, each cane has its own unique flavor. From the massive tree trunk swung around by the Scottish sleigh MacCooper, the
Damn.
strongest of the Coopers, to the twin dagger-like canes of the Ryochi Cooper of Japan. No, I will not be mentioning the atrocious redesigns of Sly 4. Sly's own
Yeah,
cane
that's
was
kinda
actually
bad.
his father's cane, which was the only thing left of him after the Fiendish Five got done with him. But that's enough about the history of the cane. How does it function as a weapon? Quite well, I'd say. It allows Sly to hook
very
unsuspecting
good-
opponents from behind, juggling them
Okay, it's not the best bashing weapon, but it's very good for
into
sneaking
the
and
air to
thieving.
bring them down hard in an instant kill. It seems to be unbreakable. It offers Sly a lot of reach in melee combat. It can even turn into a pair of ice climbing hooks. Yes, really, the Sly series can be goofy sometimes,
Oh.
but that's part of the charm. Most of the value of the cane is the mobility it offers Sly, who, even on his own, is quite agile. His cane lets him swing from hooks and vault himself into the air using certain grapple points, as well as sliding down ropes and rails. There is one other
Nice.
minor thing. The cane also serves as the key to the lock on the Cooper Vault, where all Sly's ancestors stored their wealth and treasures, as well as a gauntlet to challenge their descendants and keep any outsiders from intruding on sacred ground. The only thing the cane doesn't do is julienne fries.
What? You know what? I don't
Dangerous to go alone, take this. Well, that's really kind of dumb.
Oh, fire down to the Master
Ooh, another
Sword.
Nintendo entry, this time from Zelda. We thought about including the Sand Wand for magic weapons, but Come on. We have to go with the Master Sword, aka the weapon you take when it's too dangerous to go alone.
It's
the Master Sword is
literally
described as
the
a sacred blade
melee
with the
weapon.
power to vanquish evil. It has been infused with the sacred flames of golden goddesses and blessed by Hylia's power. In layman's terms, it's a freaking powerful sword. Yes, the damage points in most Zelda games look minuscule, but when taking the enemy's health into account, probably shouldn't take 2 hit points at face value. Now, Breath of the Wild
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom's
Yeah,
Master
yeah.
Sword variants deal a minimum of 30 points of damage, with the max being 60 points of damage when it glows in the presence of certain gloom-infused opponents.
Oh,
Look at other comparable
yes.
weapons. That's not a small number.
That is a big number!
It also helps that the Master
Very
Sword has
big.
the power to destroy magical barriers and lock away the remains of a demon. You can even channel heavenly energy to unleash skyward strikes. These are especially useful in Skyward Sword when
Skyward
Girahim uses the same type of
strike.
attack in his boss fight. As you probably guessed, the power the Master Sword possesses has definitely helped make a name for itself. Cosplayers
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't be so serious about including it in their ensemble if it was just some regular sword. But since Link to the Past and perfected by Ocarina of Time, acquiring the Master Sword is a magical, iconic moment that
The biggest
never gets
step
old. Even in games where Link's
of
not the main
all
character,
heroes.
they have to get that moment in there, like in Super Smash Bros. Brawl or even Soul Calibur 2. Too bad we can't use it in real life like in the Smosh sketch. What I would give to go... Ah!
That was a little funny. We move on from the Master
Home
Sword
Run
to
Back,
number,
Super Smash Bros.
well,
has
honorables.
appeared in every Smash game and almost guarantees a heavy-hitting home run. Just bear with it, Josh. Speedburner, Mega Man X2. I'm a sucker for
Oh.
fire. Not really that deep an explanation. Zenith from Terraria. It's a
Classic.
sword made of swords that shoots swords. Mighty Magic Swords would like a word with you. Netherite Swords
A sword of swords made of swords.
Flash Axe from Minecraft. So that's why everyone wants a diamond weapon. To smith it into something better. Soul Blade,
Aw.
Golden Sun, The Lost Age.
Not
as
wrong.
bright as the sun and is just as much of a heavy hitter. Yamato, Devil May Cry. Virgil's second best friend, right after his favorite sparring partner.
Sweet. Now we move to the Master of the Blades, number
In
1.
any JRPG, it's an unwritten rule that the
Cloud
hero
Coastal?
will be using a sword. And when it comes to swords wielded by said hero, none are more iconic than the Monado. Right off the bat, we have to talk about the design. Yeah,
Okay,
it looks
okay.
pretty bland at first, until the freaking laser blade emerges. And as the series goes on, we get all kinds of equally cool upgrades for it. In combat, the Monado allows Shulk to essentially do anything. Deal insane damage, buff, debuff, shield allies. And all that's just in the first game. But what truly makes
Wow.
the Monado earn its place is its story significance. In the world of Xenoblade, the Monado is the only weapon capable of harming the Mechons. So once original wielder Dunban loses the use of his arm, things get kind of desperate. Thankfully, Shulk steps up to become its new wielder, and it even grants him the ability to see into the future. For most of the game, the
Oh.
Monado is instrumental, allowing him and his friends to
I can
take
see
the
the
fight
future.
directly to the Mechonis. Of course, things aren't nearly as simple as they seem. Long
That's an
story
old
short,
joke.
Shulk was just being manipulated by Zanza as a glorified delivery boy the whole time. Ah, jeez, these games love to rip each other off. Thus, the final battle consists of real and replica Monados being pitted against each other. From there, the Monado only continued to evolve as the series progressed. In 2, it's used as Malice's weapon. It's a special kind of humbling to be on the
Okay, that's
receiving
cool.
end of all the attacks that made quick work of your enemies before. Of course, it's just as effective when you get to wield it with Shulk as a blade. In 3, Shulk followed in the footsteps of Dunban and incorporated his evasion techniques into the Monado arts. Oh, and Lynn has hairpits of it in X.
What? Okay, well now we move on to the realm of mystery and modern. With number 5, we have...
Can a weapon be both magical and melee? Yeah, why not?
Technically, yes.
Don't worry, I'm not going to be like, oh, this sword can also do 2d6 fire damage. It's a magical sword. What kind of professional do you take me for? These swords can do 2d80 eye gouging damage and they're also on fire.
Oh,
So much better.
yes.
God of War's Blades of Chaos are not only Kratos' signature weapons throughout the Greek saga, they are a constant reminder of his past and fury. Forged by Hephaestus and imbued with primordial flame, these blades are capable of imbuing themselves with the hottest fire with each swing. They've killed countless humans, monsters,
burn.
and gods, including Kratos' own wife and child, and oh boy. The blades themselves are chained to the wielder and can only be removed by the current god of war. While Kratos was able to remove them when he obtained that title, he could never fully escape the blades.
Yeah, the
whether it was to
skulls
send them into
remain.
the ocean or leave them in a desert, the blades would always find their way back to him. Eventually, he gave up and kept them as a way to remind.
Okay, no, I still kind of find that kind of cool. It's like, damn it, where did I leave my blades? Hold on. Shh, here they are. Well, how do you do that? They returned to me. I'm stuck with them until I die.
Him of his past as
Wait a minute, technically he did die. Multiple times.
they could still be useful. In God of War 4, he took out the blades once more to save Atreus, as they were the only weapons he had that could kill the monsters of Niflheim. Once he upgraded the blades here,
Helheim?
they lost their original Greek design and started to look more Nordic, gaining more abilities and affecting Kratos' growth. While Fimbulwinter dulled their edge in a way, you could tell they evolve as Kratos evolves as a person. The Nordic saga changed Kratos as a person, and the blades went along with it. But it doesn't mean they don't lose their destructive destiny. It was with these blades that Ragnarok was created,
the-
and many people died as a result. While Kratos did this to
Man, I gotta complete that game.
save the Nine Realms from Odin's reign, the results speak for themselves. Despite the blade's iconic nature, they are lower due to being a hybrid rather than pure magic. Can't doubt their impact on the series and Kratos as a whole, no matter how many gory scenes we get from them.
Still
Like,
epic.
Sheesh, I thought the Hidden Blade stuff was gruesome. Alright, now this is one series we can absolutely count on to give us some high quality magic weapons. So which one of Fire
What you
Emblem's
got?
many tomes or magic blades is going to make it on the list? Is it Forseti, the wind tome that massacres barons all across FE4? Or is it Nosferatu,
Ooh.
which can drain the enemy's HP? Or the Flame Shuriken, which, if given to Elise, can rip through hordes of enemies in seconds? Who am I kidding?
Damn.
It's gotta be Darkspike's tea, right? The magic that makes Lysithea as busted as she is?
Was that English?
Yeah! Where'd you come from?
I don't know. I think someone
Huh.
warped me here.
Subtle. Yeah, any at all fancy destructive tomes out there are completely dwarfed by the viability of the warp staff. All this does
Son of a
is send
gun.
one adjacent unit away from you. But depending on what unit you send, it can completely change the tide of a chapter. And some maps, you can straight up pass walls and skip puzzles with this thing.
Sure, having strong units with powerful damage-dealing weapons is good too, but if it takes too long to get your units to the enemies, then that kind of sucks the fun out of it. So getting to send those strong units flying into the enemy thicket to clear out the path ahead is an undeniable
Oh, look at that!
godsend.
Even has
Straight to the
incredible
end.
synergy with the rescue staff, allowing warped units to also haul in distant units towards them, making group progress faster overall. Obviously, the rarity and limited uses keep it from being too broken, but once you have it, the power to blaze through the toughest chapters is in your hands.
On that note, let's draw attention to the 3 games that handle warp the best: Thracia 776, Three Houses, and Engage. Thracia, like the Marth games, has no limit to where you can warp your allies. The difference is that you gotta work your way to getting these staffs via side quests and stealing from enemies to earn its high accessibility. Not to mention, the game gives us
Oh, okay.
access to its variant Rewarp, which staff builders can use to warp around the map by themselves.
In Three Houses, warp is limited to Lysithea, Lindhart, Manuela, and Happy, each having
Okay,
only
four
one
people,
use of
that's
warp
still
per
good.
map. But what makes it especially good is that you'll never run out of it for the whole game. This is insanely helpful for completionists going through all the routes, especially in combination with Stride to boost your army's overall movement.
And finally, there's Engage.
Of course you'd compliment Engage again.
Yeah, shut up.
At first, it seems like you only have a small
Yeah,
range to work
okay.
with, but with
Well,
solid
that's
training
all.
on Micaiah's emblem, you'll gain access to Augment, which gives you better range, plus an extended AoE that lets you warp up to 5 units at once. Combine this with
That's
the Goddess
good.
Dance, and it essentially busts down the limit on how far you can carry multiple units in a single turn.
I was about to say, there's a reason fans don't shut up about how good a staff this is. It's practically the Deus Ex Machina for Fire Emblem nerds, and for that, it's going to remain a classic for a while.
Of course, in some games, you gotta be really good at digging through specific maps if you want to earn one of these.
Really?
Like how?
I found this one under my couch.
What? No, wait.
Wow. I think I found a new best friend.
I found this stuff under my couch. What? Well, from warping to 4,
Kid
we move to
Icarus
3.
Uprising. Sakurai's refurbishing of the NES Classics IP brought
I love
new
both.
life into the lore, especially the characters. Pit, for one, has become a dorky, yet cheery and downright hilarious protagonist whose antics are always fun to see.
Are you a buzzard? No, we can all agree that it's not a buzzard, though I have seen him eat some questionable things off the ground.
Yeah.
ice cream gives you help.
Underestimate
Well,
him
that's
at your
not big
peril,
at all.
though, because holy Palutena, this angel's got an arsenal! Pit's weapons are varied as they are destructive. Bows, swords, cannons, orbitars, weird tattoo-like palm weapons, all capable of making mincemeat out of the armies of demons of the underworld, forces of nature,
nice.
and alien aurum alike. But nothing,
Aliens?
absolutely
Aliens.
nothing in this angel's bottomless repertoire compares to the jaw-dropping, sheer angelic might of the legendary 3 sacred treasures.
There
Based
it
on a
is.
legendary trio of items from Imperial Japan bearing the same moniker,
Oh, yeah. The Sword of Bel, and, well, technically that's supposed to be Miro.
these holy relics are the pinnacle of Pit's weaponry. Forged by Dintos, the smithy of the gods said to dwarf even Hades in power, the sacred treasures were kept safe by Palutena in the constellations of all places. And when Pit busts them out, you know it's serious business. The 3 sacred treasures consists of, well, 3 components, of course. The Wings of Pegasus, the Mirror Shield, and the Arrows of Light. The Wings of Pegasus grant Pit an unlimited flight time. Perfect for him since he can't fly on his own, and everyone loves to remind him of that.
He can fly?
I think the only one who can't fly by himself is you.
Ouch.
Oh, damn.
That's harsh.
With these,
the
Pit
boys
doesn't
a
have to worry
flight.
about his wings burning up. An experience
Oh.
I'm sure makes his little heart flutter
Never
in
mind.
joy. Next up is the Mirror Shield, which I'm sure if you played Zelda, you can get a general idea of what this does.
If your
It's
answer
a middle.
was reflect projectiles, then congratulations. You don't live under a rock.
This shield can reflect attacks with ease, sending projectiles right back to the center, and can even protect Pit from the petrifying gaze of Medusa.
I'm sorry, but was that actually a clip from Wombu?
Hey, just like on the myths. But the real star of the show here are the Arrows of Light. Shot from a specialized bow, these arrows are insanely powerful and shred through underworld forces like paper. They pierce, they have tracking second to none, and can
Oh,
shoot
that's awesome.
crazy fast. What's not to love? Not even Orns. These usually invincible enemies that kill Pit with a single touch can defend from these arrows.
Ooh.
Yes, they can kill invincible enemies. No wonder Medusa fell to these things. But Hades
right,
is made
he
of
did.
tougher stuff than that, and he manages to destroy the sacred treasures with ease. It's a good thing that Dintos was willing to give Pit a special upgrade, going from the 3 sacred treasures to a single great sacred treasure. What's the great sacred treasure, you might ask?
Please.
Oh, nothing really.
Go on.
Just a giant flying holy mecha. Now this
You-
is the God King.
You can't be serious! 'Cause he was like, yeah, I guess those weren't really my best, but you know what is? Mech. What the? If only he wasn't a god, then it would be
Even as it
question.
sheds its weaponry and armor in the final battle, it keeps up with the god of the underworld. And charged by Palutena, its main gun just disintegrates Hades completely.
Oh.
In one shot. Just wow. Yeah. Sacred treasures take everything to the extreme.
Damn
Reedy states
right.
that Pit's as destructive as 100 reset bombs, and yeah, with weapons like these at his disposal, it's completely understandable why. The sacred treasures just speak for themselves, honestly. Pit's an angel with weapons even gods fear. Don't mess with him.
Well, that was awesome. We moved to second place of the magical realm.
Arthas Menethil, still undeniably one of the most
The Lich
tragic
King?
fallen heroes in World of Warcraft. Once a benevolent prince, he desperately fought to liberate his people from a deathly plague, only to find himself in a never-ending downward spiral
Oh,
that
yeah.
corrupted him into becoming the Lord of the Undead, the Lich King. And as the old saying goes, thanks to Django, Arthas didn't become the new plague bringer on his own. He needed someone, or something, to give him a push in the wrong direction.
And of course,
That something
the
was
blade.
the original Lich King's terrifying rune blade, Frostmourne. To call this beauty a mere sword is a severe understatement. On the surface, it's the most metal-looking blade ever wielded by a baddie. Gives already an extra power boost coupled with its enormous size. Anyone able to wield something
Oh,
this
jeez.
massive deserves its amazing power. But there's a curse hidden beneath that awesome finish. For Frostmourne is no mere sword, it is also the vessel of the first Lich King, Ner'zhul. Anyone who frees the sword from its frozen prison shall be given great power, but also cursed by Ner'zhul's influence. Arthas was
We go to
warned
the
that
next
wielding the
list.
blade
Yeah.
would be a huge risk, but once again, his desperation won out, and he freed the sword, thinking it would help him stop the plague, only to be corrupted and becoming the instrument of Azeroth's destruction. Along with its unmatched power and poisonous influence, Frostmourne serves as a
Still
prison to all the
incredible.
souls unlucky enough to cross blades with it. Countless souls that Arthas absorbs are drawn into the sword, serving as the conduit for his magic abilities. What's left behind gets converted into another member of His Majesty's undead army. So suffice to say, Frostmourne being a sword is the least of your worries, considering all the damage it's caused without slicing
yeah.
anyone up. That said, it is still a sword. It's destructive, but not indestructible. And with it shattering those who were robbed of life by Arthas,
Oh,
can
hey.
finally be set free. And in a way, so can Arthas.
That's-
However, without
that's
him,
actually kinda cool.
there must always be a Lich King. And anyone lucky enough to find the pieces can just reforge a new terrible blade, hammering in how we may never be free from its horrific presence. Did you know that there was a weapon in Terraria that referenced it? Probably not. Got
Oh,
deleted,
what?
presumably due to fear of legal action. Which
You
is
know what, that makes
weird
sense.
since a way more iconic magic weapon got referenced. But more on that later.
Oh yeah, the. Damn it, I can't
Orsetti,
remember
Fire
it.
Emblem Genealogy. Never underestimate the wrath of an airbender. Fireflower, Mario. Okay, seriously, what's in the
I guess
water
it is
that keeps
magic.
giving the Mushroom Kingdom flora these kinds of powers? Sandwand from Zelda. If sand controlling abilities don't catch your attention, the freaky hand design will do the trick. Dual
Ooh.
blade, Tales of Graces. Twin blade that's a bow and can split apart into knives that are also guns. And this came out
What?
before Ruby.
What? Hold on, before anything else. So, it's a bow that you can split into twin swords that you can then shift into twin guns? What? That don't make no sense. So we move on to number 1.
Let's see here. We got a car key, piano key,
Keyblade.
skeleton key, keyboard, key to the city, keyhole, key lime pie, key to my heart.
Of course it was a damn Keyblade. Is it an exact Keyblade or...
Was there ever any doubt? As you've
No, I
seen
guess
throughout
it's
the
just
above
Keyblade.
entries, the best magic weapons are those that blur the line between melee and ranged combat. And by far, the best example in gaming is the Keyblade. As a magic weapon, the Keyblade is equally capable of hitting things hard, as well as obliterating them with all kinds of projectiles. Regardless of the game, you're given equally viable options for hack and slash combos or becoming the ultimate black mage. This is
Nice.
taken to infinity and beyond in Kingdom Hearts 3, where you get access to all kinds of crazy
Whoa, what the-
transformations to use. Whether it's a gun, yo-yos, a shield, or a flag, it makes getting
Huh.
new ones all the more exciting.
Okay.
You could shoot magic with it, encase it in magic and throw it, use it to summon magical creatures as well as open any
Unlock-
lock.
Yeah.
It did on last one less and less as the series went on, I notice. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the biggest issue with how the Keyblade is in the story, completely losing its uniqueness factor. Just like Super Saiyan's Jedi and Alicorns, Keyblades went for something only the chosen could wield to
So
something that's
real.
just handed out like free samples.
now it's
Regardless, no taking away from how
What the-
iconic it is. Why else do you think so many people like to
Was he so forgot? Oh my lord, the series is crazy.
design their own? Heck, I even have one. To put it
Oh,
into
hey.
perspective, it's been regularly referenced in plenty of other media. Hazbin Hotel, Ratchet and Clank, Terraria, Guilty Gear, Mighty Magiswords, Paracelsus, Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse, Ghost of Molly McGee. Heck, the latest Superman cartoon had Lois Lane be a Keyblade wielder.
Oh,
I'm
come
Josh Scorcher,
on.
and you know, it's sad when referencing Kingdom Hearts was one of the only things the Saints Row reboot did correctly.
Alright, well that's going to be the end of it. I hope everyone enjoyed today's video. I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all you kids next time when we flick on. This is Fox, signing out. Peace.